Hello, YouTube. It's Silver Edge Dave. It is. What is today? Today's Comic Book Wednesday. I haven't been to a comic book store, and I don't know. I might end up at one. Hard to say. I was sitting here in the comic room having a little bit of a lunch pop, and I thought maybe I'd just turn the camera on and see where this takes us. Thank you. So very many people have subscribed recently. There's been a little bit of a boom, and that's kind of cool by me. So big thank you to anyone out there who subscribed recently. Hey, Luther Manning in the chat. How are you, Patrick? Big thanks for that. I am trying to catch up on comments from my last video. That's not going great, but I'm working through them. So enjoying a lot of content, so thanks for putting out what you guys put out there. I have a whole bunch of stuff. I have been a little bit active since I stopped being active. Hey, Bubs Comics is here. And I wanted to show some of this stuff because what's happening is I've been like leaving it on the desk and around the desk to make a video, and I just haven't made a video. So I thought I'd go live and I'll just talk about it. I mean, everyone's done free comic book day stuff. So I thought I'd show some things. As luck would have it, I ended up in Fremont, Ohio. It's a home of Rupp's Comics, which is an incredible place. Rupp's is just an incredible store. Chris Rupp, the owner, he has over 1 million books just in one of his basements. He's got multiple properties. And hey, how you doing, Keith? And it's just an incredible place. But I happened to be in Fremont. I was doing some electrical work for my mother-in-law. I had one of my sons with me, and we headed over there. So a couple of cool things that I ended up picking up. They are a J. Scott Campbell exclusive store, and so I ended up. He had a big sale going on, so I picked up this sketch cover for a Spider-Gwen #1, and this was an exclusive cover that was done. This is a copy I bought when they came out, and very, very cool, but I didn't have the sketch cover, so I picked that up. Chris gave me a too good to be true deal on that. And then he also had this cover. This is a #1, I think from the second volume of Spider-Gwen. Hey, JLS, how you doing? And he had these up. He had a little wall of books, and he had some great stuff. He had a bunch of Hulk 181s. I mean, you name the big book, he had them there. But he had these up there, and I love the Spider-Gwen stuff, so I picked up those, which I thought were cool. And those are, just beautiful, mint as can be. And then he had this artist, Alex Konat, Konat. Alex was there, and they were giving out, they had 150 of these free. Hey, Thomas Gray is in the house. Hello, Kayla. How you doing? Hopefully Kayla is enjoying the show so far. But this Alex Konat, he was there, and so he signed this copy for me. And we've got a certificate there that he signed it. That's number 175 out of 200. So he had 200 of these for free. And then Alex had a deal. If you bought a sketch cover, sketch variant for $5, he would do the art for free on it. Hey, Bad Avengers in the house. And so my one son, Chase, he's a Superman fan. So Alex did this Superman cover for him, which I thought was pretty cool for $5. And we ended up giving him a tip, over and above the cost of the variant. But very, very cool guy. And then he did this Spider-Gwen for my Gwen, which I thought was cool. How you doing, Metarog? And so that was free comic book day. And then Chris did have a limit of 3 comics, and as luck would have it, I found this one. Now Gwen is a little bit of a seamstress. She sews her own clothes. She's been sewing for years, and I saw this comic with a sewing machine, and I thought, what the heck? So I got 3 copies so I could give a few out. She's got a little sewing club she's a part of, and I thought, well, I'll give out some. And as luck would have it, I read it, and it's a pretty funky story. and it crosses. Patrick, you find this interesting. It crosses between Ohio and Pennsylvania, and it takes place in both settings. And it's this young girl. Sorry if I'm boring you guys. It's this young girl and her little brother and a dad, and they're going to visit grandma for Mother's Day. And there's no mom involved. I'm assuming maybe mom died or something like that. But this little girl, turns out, has a ghost who hangs out with her. It seems like a little boy, and then the little brother ends up getting the sheet that the ghost uses. And I'll just flip to the end here. I don't want to spoiler alert it, but it's a cute story because the little brother ends up sewing a whole bunch of stuff on there, and the little girl doesn't like it, but the ghost likes it. So anyway, kind of a fun story, and I'll be handing those out to the sewing girls, so that's going to be great. Who do we got here in the chat? We got Matt Comic 17. How you doing? Yeah, you know what? Oh yeah, being in Europe, good. Europe's awesome. Shirley Tim's Fun Bunker. I always have to laugh when I see that one. Vin C, how you doing, sir? And then at Rubb's Comics, he also had this one. It's a Logan's Run number 6. And this was available in a 30 or a 35-cent variety. This is the 30-cent. And I just could never pass up on it. And the price was pretty cheap, so I added that. So that was my Rupp's Free Comic Book Day haul. Hopefully that was not too boring. I had a few other things I did. Now, this one, like last week or maybe the week before, I went to a little, we have an antique mall type of place. I don't know if anyone hunts those things. I know Longbox Love Affair, he hunts those places all the time and does well, but I happened in there. And what happens is I like everything, so I'm exhausted by the time I leave. It's a big place. But there were a few different vendors with comic books. So I found this Muppets Take Manhattan 3-issue set, 60-cent copies. And it's all 3 books in there. My sister was a big Muppet fan, so I bought that for her. And so I'm going to give that to her. That was like $3 for all 3 of them, and they're really nice. And I think I've ordered from the Rupp's website. Rupp's is awesome. They man, Chris knows how to run a place. If Alex the Comic Hoarder ever comes to visit, I think we have to go there and make a video. It's just incredible the amount of comic books he has, and a lot of his business is online. Captain Kirk, how you doing? And anyway, so in the antique mall, they also had this one. I think this was like $2 or $3. It's a Champion Sports number 1, and it's in pretty nice condition. They had this for $3.50, Rawhide Kid number 86, and it's beautiful. It's in great shape. So can't help but add that. I think I have a copy, but I'm guessing this one's nicer than maybe what I had. And then this was my, oh my goodness, Captain Kirk, please reach out to me then if you're close. That is my email. My private message doesn't work through Google because I'm pretty technology illiterate, but that's my email. So if anyone ever wants to email me, that's how you contact me direct. 2 D's and Silver Age Dave on that email. And then this one I found, there was a guy with a lot of, I thought, overpriced books. And then this was in there for $5. Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur number 1, first print. And, I thought, heck, for $5, why not, add that? And it's perfect. Corners are real nice. See that? Look at those bad boys in there. So that was pretty good. That I think I'll go back. I haven't been to the place in years, but it's like 5 minutes from my house. So my private message works. I don't get the message then. Isn't that funny? Cat is the transporter. Oh, okay. There you go. You guys are talking that way. All right. I'm a few hours southeast of you. Yeah. Hey, anyone wants to come visit, I am always available. I got the coldest beer fridge in Northwest Ohio, so that's always full of Bud Lights, and so that's good. So yeah, go Bucks. That's what I say. Someone from Columbus, exactly. Buckeyes, right? All right. So then I hit a little flea market with my friend Jason and Brad, who owns Flotsam. So it's a place I hunt quite a bit. Oh, Worcester, that's not even that far. Um, so um, so I hit a flea market. These books here, I got. I think there were originally 5 books, but I mixed them up. But I have 5 books for $3, and we've got a Marvel team up featuring Spider-Man and Moondragon number 44. I had talked to Roger about this at one point. This is an April of 1976 issue. So this one, there's a 25 cent and a 30 cent. But I was reading through here the letters pages and a lot of entertaining stuff. But this is Stan Lee's soapbox, and this picture was printed in every Marvel comic April of 1976. And so, in my guesstimation, this is the first appearance of Nova. So, Patrick and Anthony, hey, Alex, the Comic Hoarder, how you doing, my friend? Haggy Jedi's in here. This, in my opinion, I don't think it's going to be worth anything. But this is the first appearance I think anyone had of Nova. April 1976 issues. They all had the Stan soapbox. And, as first appearance, cameos, all that, he doesn't do anything. Stan just says, hey, we're not sure how we're going to unroll this guy, but this is going to be one of our newest heroes, And everything going galactic right now, I think, is pretty cool. And, he titanically talented typewriter of Marvelous Marv Wolfman. And, he really brags him up. So it's a cool thing. If you have an April of 1976 issue, then you have a first appearance or, first cameo, I guess, of Nova, if you want to call it that. So I got that one for less than $1. I got this Marvel Tales number 99 for less than $1. Newsstand, Seawood would say. Rebag and Reboard. Oh, look at that. 31 issues. Alex, I can't wait to see it. Then we've got this Marvel Team Up number 143. And then we got this Marvel Team Up number 103. Okay, so that was $3, and there were 5, but I don't know what the 5th issue is. Kind of got mixed in. There was another vendor that I hunted a little bit. Well, they're all Ohio people. This was maybe an hour or so south of where I am here in Toledo. But he had this copy of The Deep, and that's a number 1, so that was kind of cool. He had this Human Fly number 1. It's a 30-cent variety. He had this Ghost Stories, which I thought was real cool. Little Dell comic. And basically what I did is I gave him $20 for this whole stack. Okay, so it's all these comics right here. So they're priced, but then I said, hey, I'll give you $20. And he said, okay. So we got Human Fly. We have Ghost Stories. This copy of The Heap number 1. And it's got a little corner clip up here. But shy of that, it's in pretty nice shape. And it's a cool, groovy cover. So that's nice. Hey, Mike, Area 51, how are you? Hey, by the way, guys, Luther Manning and Reaper Tate, if I didn't mention it, they have their live show tonight at 7. And it's a great show. So if you're not doing anything, tune into that show. If you are doing something, then just cancel those plans and tune into that show because it's always entertaining. Very good show. Gray Man is in the house. Then we got this Master of Kung Fu Special Marvel Edition number 15. All right, that one's in okay condition. Nothing great there. Just a mid-grade at best. And then he had 2 really, really nice copies of Incredible Hulk 377. We've got a newsstand and we've got a direct. And like I say, $20 for that stack. So I considered that a decent hunt right there. So I was happy with that. Then another booth had this, and I know White Vision isn't, no one's specking on anymore, but they had that for $1, so I added another White Vision. And let's see, Tiger Fist, that Hulk book got hot fast. Yeah, yes, indeed it did. Went crazy. So, yeah, first Shang-Chi, of course. And then another booth had this. He had $4 on it. I said, "Hey, will you take $1?" And so I bought that for $1. I'm always happy with these milestone editions, and it's in really nice shape. If it was red, someone was real gentle on it. Nothing color breaking. Corners are in nice shape. So that's a nice issue to have. I got this for $1. Western Aces. It is beat beyond belief, but the stories are still good. It's got the classic Baby Ruth, very common advertisement at the time. And I think this is 1946, this issue. And it's really more of a book than it is a comic. Let's see here if I can find the date. Oh, I'm sorry, 1944 is the date on this. And, so not as much comic in there, but it's a cool Western, cool piece of history. And so there you go. Got that. And then one guy had this, which says October 1951 on it. I've looked these up, and in 2.0, it's like $10, $20, $30. It goes up. Not a wildly expensive issue, but October 1951. It's got quite a bit of fading to the cover. Okay, but the interior on it is really, really nice. And it's just an old Western, Wild Bill Pecos, the Westerner, it's called. And, they've got a Lobo here. So, yet another comic Lobo. This is Lobo the Wolf Boy. So that's three, I guess, if we're counting. So he had that, but he actually had 3 copies of it. And so I negotiated them on him, and I didn't pay all that much. And now I've got 3 copies of Wild Bill Pecos, the Westerner. And so those will get added in. And that's nice. So we got all kinds of things. I mean, no big Grail books. That's what I was hoping for, but we had a torrential rainstorm. And so, a lot of the vendors that I think would have been there, the people cleaning out their garage type of people, they just didn't show up because it was a muddy mess. So, you go and you do the best you can, and that's nice. Let's see. Very cool. Thank you. All right. So then, let's see what I got here. I got some other stuff. Oh, this past weekend, I found myself in Chicago. My parents needed some help. I was doing some carpentry work on a building they have in their yard. Had some rotted wood, and so I had to rip out some things and do some replacements. But I ended up stopping. I talk frequently about my friend Scoot McMahon, who does kids comic books. He did the Super Gwen and the Harley Quinn for me at Fantasticon. He lives here in Rossford. He's going to come into the comic room and do a live show at some point. And anyway, in Skokie, Illinois, that's where I'm from originally, this comic store is there. It's called Aw Yeah Comics. And really, they specialize in kids comic publishing. And so we went there, and they were really, really nice. They gave me a bunch of books for free comic book day, even though that was over. And I found out that Scoot was there the week before for free comic book day. Go Fish, and some of the more kid-friendly books that I thought are a little rare to find. Most of these have been read already. I gave them to some of my kids. Bob Burgers and Archie here. Anyway, this is that's the card for Oh Yeah Comics right there. So that I thought was pretty cool. And you know what? As long as we're showing comic business cards, Chris gave me this when I was there. It's Rupp's Comics in Fremont, Ohio. And they have an online store and all that. If you are in the area and you stop into Rupp's, tell them Silver sent you. But just good people. And what's cool about that store is they don't get a lot of foot traffic. So if something's really, really hot and I can't get it here in Toledo, I drive there and they usually have a stack of them, which is pretty cool. Okay, so that's just some free comic book stuff. They said, yeah, help yourself. So I helped myself. And I did end up buying a few comics from them out of one of their boxes. They had a sale for free comics book day. So That was over, but he still honored, the deal for me. So I got an Inhumans #1 right there, and that's again, okay condition. We've got a Howard the Duck #16. I just can't help myself when I see old Howard the Ducks. Mighty Thor, Marvel Spectacular #1, which I just was watching Chuck and Lawrence, I think today, the Go-To Geeks, they showed off that book, and so that's pretty cool. And then I added this What If, and I just can't stay away from What Ifs, especially the early ones. If they're in nice condition for a couple of bucks, I just have to add them. And that one's in pretty nice condition. So we added that one. So that's all. Yeah. Look at all the hunting, right? Oh yeah, comics. Let me check in with the chat here and make sure. Oh, John Hicks is in here. How you doing, John? Yeah, thanks. I've been busy and tired and just didn't feel like making a video. And so fortunately, YouTube is a big place. You guys make great videos, and I get to watch all that stuff. So I enjoy that. Let's see. I'm trying to check out. Okay, so then I'm going to take a sip of pop here. So a couple weeks ago, I was watching a live show Comic Hawks did. And Alex Comic Hoarder was on there chatting, and they were talking about garage sales, flea markets, that. And it just so happened I had a garage sale, and I had a couple people. I had some boxes of comics, dollar box stuff, and I thought, oh, I'll get this to maybe kids in the neighborhood, but there weren't that many kids because it was, school still in session. So I don't know what I was thinking, but I did get a couple collectors that came out. I met a few new friends, and so a guy reached out to me. He saw my ad for the garage sale with comics, and he said, "Hey, if you buy comics, I got some comics, and I don't. Whenever someone has a box of comics, you never know what to expect. So, they always have the greatest stuff, and they show up, and you're like, oh, okay. And so I ended up buying this box of comics for $10, and it didn't come in this box. It came in a pretty beat up box. But if you guys still have time, if you guys want to see, I can show you what's in here. There were a couple of cool things. I'll start with the best ones, and then we'll just work through maybe. He had a stack of Doom Patrol. So this is number 113, and the cover on that's beautiful. And did this come out of there? You know what? This didn't come out of the $10 box. I got the wrong box. Hold on, guys. That's not the $10 box. That's a different guy that called me. And the $10 box is over here. And now that I think about it, I don't even think I'm going to bother going through this. The $10 box has a lot of stuff in it, and nothing terribly exciting. There's an Alf, and he has some Superboy and just some other stuff. You know what? I'm not even going to bother you guys with this. I was thinking of Alan Garrett. This Career Girl Romances was in there, which is always nice. These are all very well read and broke in, right? Called the Broke In comics. This one was in there, House of Secrets 104. But yeah, this box was $10. And so that was a nice little score. Now, most of these are going to end up in the hands of kids who will read them. And I love that. Anytime I can, what does this say? It's got a name on there. Hello, my name is, from 99. So I love anytime I can get books on the cheap. I'm going to go to the other hall because frankly, the other hall is more exciting. And I'll show off a couple books, and then at some point I'll probably end the live stream because I just wanted to come on and see that Roger wants to see him. Maybe I'll do those at another time. But this other guy reached out to me, and he might have found me through the garage sale too. Hey, check it out, Patrick. I got someone's name right here on top, Jimmy. Okay, now if I asked Patrick a question, hopefully he'll talk about it tonight on his show. But whenever you get a book and it's got a name on it, I got a solution for that. See, so that Elf is pretty funny. So we got that. Okay. So we'll go over those another time. But this haul, a guy reached out to me, and literally, it's all these books here, and I paid him $40 for all of this. That's a full short box plus what's over there, and some of these are coverless. Some of them are a little beat up, and I can't figure out yet. I really haven't been through them. I can't figure out yet if I did well or if he did well. I think it was a win-win, but these Doom Patrols, let me pull those out because that was the part I was most excited about. So that was 113. I showed that one already. Hey, Dr. Von Chilla, how you doing, sir? Jimmy from Cleveland. Who we talking about there? JLS. All right, so this one is number 112. And for the most part, it's in really nice shape. There's a little bit of edge stuff over here. If you're Erod, you could probably figure out a way to press that out and make it beautiful. But, I'm happy with it. Stuff comes my way sometimes, and I'm happy with whatever comes. There's number 111. And we've got number 110 right there. It's got 15 cents written on it. See that, Patrick? Okay. And then this one's beat up, but it's number 108. I call those rat chewed. I don't know what happened to it, if it was just moisture or what, but the story's complete, so I can still read it and enjoy the comic book. And for the money, I don't know what fits in a short box. What do you guys think? Like 100 something comics plus this little box. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with the deal. He had giant size. Now these are in rough shape, but he had the giant size Spider-Man run 1 to 6, and again they're beat, but the stories are complete. So I'm happy. They're nice reader copies. That's the number 1 and number 2, and I know it's number 2 because it's got number 2 written right there at the top. So that's pretty good that he helped me out that way by writing it. There's number 3, and then number 4 with the Punisher, and number 5 with the Spider-Man and the giant-sized man thing. H-Town Comics, how are you? All right, and so there's number 6. All right. So then he had these. This is like a one of those drug war comics. So that one's okay. Captain America number 1. Sorry if I flipped right through that. And then this little group here, there's nothing terribly exciting. We've got Original Sin. This is 5.4. And Original Sin, I don't know what, oh, number 8. My finger was right on it. Okay. So we got that. We've got a Supergirl in here. We've got another Supergirl in here. Another Supergirl in here. We got Doom Patrol. This is the more modern, May of '93. All right. And heck, I don't know what else. Is this exciting? Should I keep going on this? You guys let me know. Maybe people are bored. I don't want to bore anybody. So early Punisher on that number 4. So we've got Thing and She-Hulk, and this George Perez Sirens. He had book 3 and book 4 of those, and I don't know if I've got the Siren series at all. It might just be those 2 now in my collection. He had this Marvel Adventures number 21. And just a couple. He had a lot. Most of the books were Spider-Man books. So there are some ASMs and Spider-Man and Web of Spider-Man, different things in there. And then Marvel Team Up 13. Amazing Spider-Man #1 behind the scenes edition, which was pretty cool. Ryan Otley. So it's all like sketch, which is nice. So I paid him 40 for the whole stack. He's got the Spider-Man 17, Superior Spider-Man #30. And I was thinking about the comic book Estate. Anytime I see Black Widow on there, then I think of the Estate. Big Black Widow fan. And then we have Superior Spider-Man #31. So a couple of those. And he did happen to have a couple of coverless. And when I went through them, I was looking at this. Remember these stick-ons, guys that were around in the 70s? I used to have the stick-ons. I don't know how many of those survive. Alan Garrett's probably got a few of them. But a cool ad. So some of this stuff, the stories aren't complete, so I'm going to add to my advertisement collection. And then this particular issue, this is Marvel Tales #66, April of 1976. So just to prove the point from earlier, there's Nova, right? Had this cool Army Flats ad. So I'm going to cut that one and bag and board it, and that'll be nice. And I think rather than go through this whole big box, because I don't want to take up your guys' whole day, maybe I'll just show the ASM stuff that's in here. Oh, it's all out of order now, too. What did I do? Let me just grab a few of these out of here. Yeah, we'll just go through the ASM stuff. Oh yeah, there was one good book in here, and it's pretty beat up, and that was part of why I offered him what I did. So we got this #301, and it is dirty. It's got some of that same issue over here on the side. It's got the spine stresses here, and I don't think it's flat, pretty flat, but I don't think it'd be worth cleaning it and pressing it and all that. But it's a good issue to add. So we've got that one. And then, unfortunately, that was the oldest ASM that he had. Let's take a look here. And then he had this 365 in there. He had 366. He had a nice little run of the upper 300s on ASM. Some of these are in perfect shape, unread, and some of them are, read and loved. And, it is what it is. When you buy collections, you get the good and the bad and the ugly. That's what we always say. Let's see. So we've got number 369. You guys have probably seen these, but we'll roll through them. And you know what I'll do? Once I get to the bottom here, there's some annuals. Once I get to the bottom, then I got one other thing that we'll talk about, but then we'll be done for the day. There's number 371, and there's number 372. That one's in pretty nice shape. 373. Big O in the house. How you doing, Big O? We got 374. And then 375, the gold foil. We've got 376 in there. Then we skip to 379. 380. I think for 40 I did pretty well. Now that I'm looking at them. These books, and this is the funniest part of this story. So the guy called me, and I was busy, and I was like, yeah, come on over, and showed up. It was this old, terrible pickup truck. I mean, last leg. And I thought, oh, what's going on here? And kid came out, seemed nice, but, maybe I don't know. I don't want to judge anyone, but I wasn't so sure. And he was literally carrying a milk crate. Okay. So these books weren't even in a box. They were in a milk crate, right? That was a first for me. Hey, Mike Evans. And all I can tell you is my eyes literally bugged right out. And all I could think to myself is I gotta get these out of that milk crate. And so I like put them in my garage. I have a countertop, and I put them all on the countertop, and I start organizing them. So the kid, he said they were his comics from when he was a kid, but he knew nothing. They were sitting around in his house for 20 years. And I think he has a kid now that start drawing on one of them, probably that giant size Spider-Man #1. And he had these organized by direct and newsstand. So he didn't care if it was Amazing Spider-Man or Web of Spider-Man or Spider-Man. If they had a Spider-Man on here that was black, those went in one pile. If it had a Spider-Man that was white, those went in a pile. And if it had a newsstand, those went in a third pile. So when they got to me, they were like as mixed up as could possibly be. So I'm like just flipping through them. I'm like, man, I got to get this guy out of my garage because I didn't know what was going on. And he ended up being a really nice kid. And he's got a Flash collection that he's going to bring over. And I might be buying his Flash collection from him. And I found out his dad has a big time collection. His dad lives in Indiana somewhere, and he gave his dad my information. The dad's been thinking of selling comic books, and he's got like all the early stuff that we love to see. So anyway, wherever I was, 386. So you never know when when I do meet people that are selling. Sometimes things lead to other things, and we'll see. Hey, Dr. Von Chilla, thanks for stopping in, my friend. That's 388. And we've got 389. And this has the cards in it right there. Still attached, so that's good. We've got 390. We've got, hey, collector, how are you? Indiana is right in between us, Silver, says Alex the Comic Hoarder. You got that right. It's a short ride. Wherever this guy is, I hope he reaches out to me. Hey, you know what? I'm going to interrupt this because I did get something cool. Early on, I was talking about the flea market I went to that was rained out. And I was going from comic booth to comic booth. Not that they had booths, but just looking for, any comics. I was going place to place, and I happened to be walking by a coin collector booth, and he was selling coins. You know how they have the glass top displays and everything's like under key. And he happened to have, I don't know if anyone out here knows about these things. So these caught my eye in one of his display cases, and these are originals. These are the Very Views. I built the little case for them out of just a foam board, but these are the Very Views from 1966, and they actually have the 1966 copyright on the back. You can find these sometimes on eBay, but you got to be careful. You want to make sure that they're the originals, and the originals always have the copyright information on the back. So I thought you guys might like that. I hadn't shown them, and I was looking for a time, so now's the time. So those are called Very Views. And if Marvel could have done with the lenticulars what Very View did with these back in the 60s, those would have been great. Look how clear those are. I mean, the company's still, I think, in business making this kind of stuff, but I wasn't particularly happy with the lenticulars. So that's a nice little piece of history for everyone. And let's see. It's always good to see Mr. Bill in the background. Simply Incredible Podcast. How are you? That's actually my Mr. Chris doll. And he's always with me back there. That's a dog toy. But I got Mr. Chris Lackey is who I have that for. Hey, comic guys in the house. And yeah, see, Bad Avenger, you know what I'm talking about. And there's some Marvel ones out there that go for a lot of money. Again, if you could get the original. So Very View, Varivue. And they did political, and they did different stores. And I mean, any product in the world, they did them, but they happen to do some superhero stuff too. So there we got number 392. Back to the ASMs. EA, thank you. Hey, Mastodon's in here too. How you doing, Mastodon? Mastodon had a cool video today I checked out. Check out Mastodon. Sub each other up, by the way. If you're not subbed, sub each other up. There's a $3.95. So I guess for $40, this worked out pretty well, especially if it leads to the Flash comics, which who knows what's in there. And if the dad reaches out, whether he wants to sell or not, I don't really care. But it's always cool. Hey, there's a Power Ranger card right there in a Power Ranger ad. Anyone who knows about video games might know about that. 1994 Tiger Electronics. So that's in $3.97. He had $3.98. And there's $3.99. And then Bad Avenger, maybe you can help me with this. This is the ASM 400. I know there's at least 3 covers for it, and I have the other ones. I don't know if I had this particular cover for 400. I had the Tombstone, and then I had a blank one, but maybe there were 4 covers. Memory does not serve me so well, so straighten me out maybe. Who knows? Then the last of this little haul will finish up. He had this. This is the annual number 5. Okay, the parents of Peter Parker. Then it jumped, unfortunately, to annual number 10. But that's in pretty nice shape, so we're happy to have that. Then there's a reader copy of number 10. Okay. Then he had, I think this is one of the books maybe his kids got into, King Size Annual number 13. There's no way to cover up that scribbling, but that's okay. I'm still happy to have it. It's a nice reader copy. Story's complete. Nothing's missing. And it's got these cool little pinups on here, the gallery. So, who knows? Those pinups might end up being pinned up in here at some point. And lots of great ads. And so good to have that. There's number 14. And there's number 15. And there's number 16. Happy to have that. Number 17. And there's number 18. Annuals. There's 19. And 20. And then the one that, everyone seems to like, number 21 was in there. And I just happened to have this out the other day. I was going to talk about this. We had the wedding just happened, the Batman wedding. And I'm going to reach across, guys. I've got this wedding invitation that I got. And I always like these. So that's the DC wedding invitation, July 4th, 2018, right? I guess it was, not just had, but that we just had. So I happened to pull out recently this other copy of 21, and there's the wedding invitation. And I don't know, that's 1987 is when that happened. So I thought that was pretty cool. Some of that old time stuff you keep laying around, and then every now and then you have a reason to pull that stuff out. Let's see here. So that was 21, and then I think I'm just gonna end it with these. There's 22 and 20. Well, that's 1997 annual. So that one's a little out of order. So there's 27, and there's 28 in 1994, and then there's 1997. And there's lots of other good stuff in here, but we'll end it there. Thank you so much. It's been 45 minutes. I appreciate everyone being in here. Let me just flash back through. I'm going to start from the very top here. We had Luther Manning, Patrick. He's got a live show tonight, so sub him up if you're not subbed and check out that live show. It starts tonight at 7 Eastern Time. Bub's Comics, Keith Larson, JLS Comics, one of the greats. I absolutely love watching JLS. He gets into so many cool storylines. When he does a video, man, he doesn't hold anything back. It's great. Thomas Gray, Bad Avenger, one of my favorites. Metarog, as always. Surly Tim's Fun Bunker, best name in the YouTube community. We have Matt Comic 17. We have Vin C, one of my favorite guys. We have Captain Kirk Productions, who's going to come and visit me in the comic room one of these days. We have, let's see, who else is in here? Haggy Jedi's in here. Alex the Comic Hoarder, my BFF. He's in the house. Area 51 Mike, my Canadian brother, just up north, but that's great. We have, and he's been doing a lot of toy videos, and he had to take his comic wall down recently, which I'm sure that'll go up even better than ever, but he's got a cool house that he's working on, so that's cool. Gray Man in the house. We've got, let's see, James Watson. I think I might have missed James when you came in, so welcome and thanks for coming. Who else do we have in here? Let's see, Stango Tigerfist is in here. John Hicks. Hello, John. And boy, I hope I don't miss anyone. My eyesight is going a little bit, but we'll try to get everyone a shout out here. Dr. Von Chilla, of course, was in the house. Man, a lot of comments. Thank you guys so much. H-Town Comics. And maybe that's it. Let's see here. Oh, Big O again was in here. Thank you. Mike Evans. How can you forget about Mike Evans? Great member of the community. Collector. Oh, Duster 1982. Welcome, Duster 1982. Oh, yeah, Simple Incredible Podcast. Great YouTube channel. Boy, that's a great chat. Thank you so much. Comic Guy was in here. Mastodon was in here. EA was in here. I so appreciate you guys checking it out. I don't know how much great stuff was in here, but I enjoyed, each time you go out hunt, sometimes it's going to be the great stuff. Sometimes it's going to be just other great stuff. There's no bad stuff, right? I just saw some, Jeff G. And then maybe that's it. So thank you again so much. That 301 is staring at me, Dave. Yeah, look at, always a good book. It's a great cover, always a good book to have. Of course, that's the one I was hoping, when someone calls me, that's what I'm hoping's in there is the 300, but 301's just as good. And, they're all great books to have. So thanks again, guys. I'm going to end it there. Make today awesome. Check out that show tonight at 7. Silver Age Dave is out.